Hello and welcome to today's presentation. Today we'll recap wellbeing at Paradise Secondary College and look more closely into the Berry Street Education Model, otherwise known as BSEM, briefly reviewing our journey so far before taking a deeper dive into the BSEM Domain 1, body, and the importance of mindfulness. We'll look at what mindfulness isn't before exploring what it actually is and the benefits of mindfulness in education. At the end of this presentation, you'll see a list of references should you wish to further your reading. Our BSEM journey began in 2021 with the training of all staff, from teachers and principal class officers to office managers, maintenance staff, and crossing attendants. Each of the 5 training days corresponded to the 5 domains within the Berry Street education model. As you can see on the right side of the screen, the domains are body, relationships, stamina, engagement, and character. 5 corresponding manuals have also been provided to all staff. Having completed the training, we have been granted alumni status, providing us with a wide range of resources that include research papers, connections to complementary therapies, and programs such as Smiling Minds, which I will discuss later. I urge you to have a really good look at these. Open Access Education have summarised the BSEM model in this diagram, figure 2. Although we know not all of our students have experienced trauma, trauma-informed positive education and trauma-informed teaching provide significant benefits for all students. According to Brunzell et al. 2019, 40% of our students have been affected by trauma. However, we don't always know who they are. Brunzell's research suggests that teachers are facing the significant challenges of educating students who present with a wide range of behaviours, including attention deficit hyperactive disorder, school refusal, opposition defiance disorder, poor emotional regulation, inability to concentrate, and poor self-regulation. I'm sure some of your students sprang into your minds as I read this list. These behaviours exist in every classroom to some degree. This nutshell view of BSEM highlights the need for emotional regulation and the importance of trauma-informed teaching. It explains succinctly the flip one's lid response that we see in many of our students, the fight, flight, or freeze reaction. This response to stress is addressed in Module 1 of BSEM, Body. Statistics provided by the Australian Institute of Teaching and School Leadership, affectionately known as AITSL, indicate that 1 in 7 students will be impacted by mental health issues in any given year. Wow, that's 3 or 4 students in every class we teach. We often recognise these students, however many slip under the radar. Conditions such as anxiety, depression, self-harm and the like are not uncommon at Paradise Secondary College or any other school for that matter. 5% of our students are funded under the program for students with disabilities. 75% of these students are funded for severe behaviour disorder, with a further 15% having a diagnosis of autism spectrum disorder with comorbid conditions such as Tourette's, severe anxiety, and obsessive compulsive disorder, to mention a few. Wellbeing data indicates that 30% of our student cohort access counselling and other wellbeing services. The need for BSEM model is clear. Our students and our staff need a whole school approach to wellbeing underpinned by trauma-informed practice and positive education. Fraley in 2004 collated the 5 most common domains of wellbeing, which can be found in his discussion paper, Measuring Student Wellbeing in the Context of Australian Schools. In this table, I have provided a comparison of the 5 most common wellbeing domains and compared these with the BSEM and ARISTI NEST models. The links are clear. Each of these models focus on physical wellbeing, financial or resources to support wellbeing, health in our bodies, psychological wellbeing, and social wellbeing. This slide shows clearly the link between all 3 models. You can see the interconnection between body and health. This is where the focus of today's wellbeing initiative, mindfulness, fits. Having looked at what the experts say about student wellbeing, it's important to ensure that the views of our students are included. Student voice has now taken its rightful place in education. Students today are active contributors in the education process, having a say rather than being passive participants. Figure 4 from Fator et al. 2016 shows well-being from a student's perspective. As you can see, it highlights the link between body, health, and self. This link connects the body and health domains to the previous slide. The body domain, or domain 1 in BSAM, as shown in figure 5, places a lens on students in relation to being present, centred, and grounded, their ability to de-escalate, the importance of mindfulness, and self-regulation. It would be fair to say that mindfulness within the body domain of BSAM, when used regularly, will impact directly on students being present, centred, grounded, and regulated, providing more balance in the nervous system as shown in figure 6, with reduced incidence of fight or flight and increase in rest and digest. This is further confirmed by the OECD's first dimension of student wellbeing, psychological wellbeing, which emphasises self-awareness and sense of purpose. The OECD's fourth dimension, healthy lifestyles, also supports the positive benefits of mindfulness. So let's get mindful. But what actually is mindfulness? Let's first look at what it isn't. Have you ever gone to the fridge and wondered why you were there? Or listened to someone talking and realised you haven't heard a word they said? Or my personal favourite, driving along and suddenly wondered how you got there, having no recollection of the last 10 kilometres and suddenly you're at your destination. Our busy minds are so full of information that often we do not pay attention completely to the here and now. It's not uncommon for a person to be involved in a conversation and before the speaker's finished, we're already preparing a response. This is not mindfulness. We are not actually present in the moment, but focused on other things that drift into our thoughts. Now that we know what mindfulness isn't, or should we call it unmindfulness, let's look at what mindfulness actually is. Brunzell 2018 describes mindfulness as paying attention in the moment. Frank et al. 2021 defines mindfulness as paying attention. Rosa et al. 2020 describes mindfulness as paying attention in a specific way, while Black 2012 explains mindfulness as paying attention to the present in a non-judgmental way. And Agar et al. Defines mindfulness as a way of being in the moment, paying attention to the here and now. As you can see, all 5 definitions are strikingly similar. At Paradise Beach Secondary College, we currently have 5 methods of mindfulness that a small number of students and staff utilise. Smiling Mind, you can see the app on this slide. The Smiling Mind app provides a wide range of meditation-type mindfulness activities and can be used by individual students and teachers or a whole class. The app defines mindfulness as paying attention to the present moment with openness, curiosity, and without judgment. The app will take you through an introduction and an explanation of mindfulness, an explanation as to why we need mindfulness, and how to practice mindfulness. There are also some practice meditations to get you started. Albridge 2018 recommends Smiling Minds as an excellent starting point on the journey to embed mindfulness in school culture. Following this presentation, you're invited to join a small Smiling Mind meditation session. It will take approximately 3 minutes and give you an insight into what the app offers. It's worth noting too that this program has the support of the Education Department of Victoria. Mindful art. Students paint or colour, focusing on what they're doing, paying attention to colour and form, taking in what they are doing with each stroke of the brush or pencil. Therapy dogs provide a wonderful opportunity to de-escalate and switch off from the things that worry us. Spending time with the dog and being focused on your interactions with her, being mindful. Ali, the larger of the 2 dogs in the photo, is a therapy dog. The puppy's there to capture your attention and is Ali's 15-week-old puppy. Students can elect to spend quality time with Ali. Some talk to her, others walk with her, some just sit and be in the moment with her. Regardless of which activity they wish to do, Ali becomes the focus of their attention. They also become the focus of Ali's attention. Mindful gardening is a regular activity for our lifestyle classes. Students are encouraged to participate in looking after the veggie garden and noticing changes in plants. Are they ready to be picked? Do they need more water? Students are focused on what they're doing. If their minds wander, which they invariably do, The teacher will redirect their focus back to the mindful gardening. And finally, mindful music is used in several classes as a way to refocus the attention of the students. A kind of brain break. With these classes, students choose the music. Student voice provides a much greater level of buy-in and cooperation. Students are more likely to participate when the content is relevant, when it's their choice. Having looked at what mindfulness isn't, or unmindfulness, and then what mindfulness is, it's now time to delve into the research behind it. Why is mindfulness beneficial to our students, and what is the probable impact of mindfulness on them? Perry Parish et al. 2016 have clearly demonstrated the links between mindfulness and self-regulation. This diagram shows the benefits of mindfulness on our coping processes. You can see that there is a decrease in rumination and maladaptive behaviour and an increase in adaptive behaviours. We're much more able to regulate emotions once we are skilled at being mindful. Research shows that cognitive functions improve. Impulse control, attention, and cognitive flexibility all improve as a result of mindfulness. Improved psychological functioning results in lower anxiety and anger. It also improves emotional control and self-awareness. This is supported by research from Agar et al. 2015 from RMIT, Mindfulness in School Research, and Ware 2012, University of Southampton, in evidence of the impact of mindfulness on children and young people. Frank et al. 2021 have developed a logic model that provides an at-a-glance view of the benefits of mindfulness. The correlation between the language in this logic model and the Berry Street education model is remarkable. The logic model presents us with a series of indicators in column 1, with a clear focus on the positive impacts of mindfulness: awareness, quality of our attention, healthy mental habits, and psychoeducational factors. This model goes on to identify the short and long-term benefits of mindfulness in columns 2 and 3. Once again, the language used correlates with the Berry Street education model. It's fair to say that this all leads to improved classroom engagement and behaviour. Hattie, 2009, in his book Visible Learning, ranks classroom behaviour number 6 in its impact on student learning with an effect size of 0.80, while classroom management has an effect size of 0.52, both positively impacted by the regular use of mindfulness. So where to next? This action learning plan provides us with a guide or overview of the journey ahead in mindfulness. The steps include staff training, including the use of observation. Let's see mindfulness in action. Discussions and planning at the PLC level is an important step, allowing everyone to have a say in the implementation process as well as troubleshooting and problem solving. Implementation and practice in class. It's important to dip our toe into the water and implement what we've learned in training and observation phase. Discussing what worked and how it could be refined is an important part of the process, as is sharing experiences with other members of the team. Reflect and refine based on what we've discovered about mindfulness. Thinking and talking about what others have discovered in this process is also a valuable tool in the reflect and refine stage. You'll see that I've added a two-way arrow at the top. This is the link to the family and community beyond the classroom in our journey to implement mindfulness. In schools, families and the wider community work together. The outcomes for students will be all the richer according to Bronfenbrenner's ecological model. If you'd like to know more about the ecological model, the reference is listed at the end of this presentation. Albrecht 2018 confirms the positive benefits of encouraging parents and the wider community to join the mindfulness journey. With the introduction of any new initiative, there are always considerations and possible blockers. Given the recent Victorian Teaching Agreement, careful consideration must be given to time for training. As new members join the Paradise Secondary College team, we will need to consider training and implementation issues. Some teachers may be reluctant to take time from class to implement mindfulness. Perhaps proof in the form of improved student behaviour data may convince the reluctant. There may also be some students who are reluctant to participate in mindfulness. This roadblock may be able to be overcome by utilising the assistance of inclusion and wellbeing team members already trained in mindfulness. A more positive location, such as the inclusion facility, may be an appropriate place to provide training in a more private location. And so I'd like to conclude this presentation with a quote from Doctors Hast and Chambers from their book, Mindful Learning, Reduce Stress and Improve Brain Performance for Effective Learning. They say, mindfulness is not just about meditation. It's a way of living with awareness. If, for example, we say that a teacher is mindful of a child playing or a surfer is mindful of the waves, then we mean that he or she is present to whatever is most relevant at the moment and what they are experiencing. Attention regulation is a psychologist's way of saying paying attention. When the attention wanders, as it inevitably will, gently go back to the main priority. If we practice cultivating this during our daily meditation, then it'll be a lot easier to do this in our day-to-day life. I'll leave you with this image and invite you to participate in a 3-minute mindful meditation session using the Smiling Mind app. For those interested, we'll meet in the Inclusion Hub in 5 minutes. References will follow. Thank you.